good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Brew Activate. My gosh, it's like been a whole entire week, and we've got a lot of amazing changes going on in the background to make sure this damn show continues on come hell or high water. But welcome, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing, Shannon? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, pretty good for a Friday morning, although I am hopped up on a lot of caffeine this morning. Certain family four-legged variety animals wanted to, hang outside this morning at like 4:30 in the morning. So, yeah, I'm really raring, rocking to go. And so everything, I'm going to be like the Micro Machines guy, eventually. So if I start to get too fast, slow me down a little bit, just to let you know.
All right. Well, Brew Activate runs on Dunkin', not sponsored, but Dunkin', if you'd like to sponsor, we're here for you.
Exactly. There you go. Like I said in the beginning of the chat, people, I said, Shannon's just running out to Dunkie. She'll be back. When she hits the studio, we'll fire things off. So with that,
to be honest, I'm trying not to go to Dunkin' Donuts as much. This is probably going to kill any chance of sponsorship, but I'm trying to be a good girl and make my coffee at home and save a little money.
Even the coffee I have at home is literally Dunks anyway. So.
Well, there you go.
But I spend probably way too much. Like we go to the big box store and buy the small little K-cup of Dunkins, and I think that's like $45 now. It used to be like $33. So yeah, you do the math there. Still maybe a little savings, but who knows? All right. Well, hey, we got a lot of folks there in the chat this morning. So maybe this is your first time picking us up here. And with that, I have to say welcome and thank you again for joining us. This is the Brew Crew. So we are hanging out and we love to do a lot of great things related to POTA. So I'm Eric, call sign N1JUR, and I'm here with my co-host, Shannon, KC1OHT. And I always forget there we go, T2 Echo 0 OHT. Thank you there for that little logo there.
Seeing as it's right there in my logo, I'm not sure how you could forget, but.
Because I only work the KC1, but yeah, that's, very much a lifesaver. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that's your own fault because AC1RH has worked 2 Echo 0 Oscar Hotel.
Well, let's not rub the salt into a wound there. Thank you. We are your POTA resource, so we'll go with that. I'm your park guide. Shannon's our POTA mentor, and we love everything POTA. So good morning. And so with that, let's kind of get into some of our activities here. And so we're going to do, once again, just to let you guys know, I mean, obviously, I know last week and we started this process. So we're going to try one more time with the goals here, just because I want to be able to kind of take away some of the ad revenue and let you guys have a free ad revenue stream. So, hey, we're going to give it another shot here. So just as an option, I'm going to set a quick goal. Anything you guys can contribute to it. If we reach the goal, then I'm just going to go in and kill the ads automatically off of the live stream here. So you guys can watch worry-free. And again, it helps the channel out, and, it keeps you guys from having to get interrupted and having to see some ridiculous ad that you have no desire to know about or whatever. So I'm going to kick that goal off here real quick here. And we're just going to let it run. And if we hit it, then I will make sure we go ahead and knock the ads off as we get going here. But we're going to dive into Ham Alert. So those that, are tuning in for the first time to the show, like I said, welcome. But we started last week our deep dive into Ham Alert. We're going to go from soup to nuts and everything in between and pick up where we last left off. So if you have not checked out Ham Alert, or you're this first time here, make sure you go back and check out the other video before where we got interrupted in the stream. And we were talking about some of the alerts, and I'm going to just breeze through that very quickly and then pick back up where we left off. But before we do that, we always like to do our quick POTA minute here. So we're going to get into that. See, I see Shannon dancing in the background. It's a catchy tune, my friend. Yes,
That
gets
is,
the blood
yeah,
going.
rock on.
All right, so this is the POTA Minute. This is where we take 1 minute. We talk about something related to POTA in general. Hopefully, share your little truth nugget, or maybe, hey, you got a question or something's bothering you, or you're trying to figure out your POTA situation. Feel free to email us. Send it over to n1jur.nh@gmail.com, or head over to our Discord and post over there. And if I have the Discord link here, I'm going to throw that Discord link in the chat. That way you guys can head on over there and you can post that in the Brew and Activate section. And we'll make sure we throw your question in the next POTA Minute. And I will do all the work and research, and hopefully we'll solve your problem for you. But this week, we are going to talk about something that I kind of ran into in my local club. And so I'm going to throw out a challenge to you folks, and with the hopes that, maybe it will get you going. If you're a club or you're part of a club, local club in your community, ham radio specific, and you're finding that maybe, there's not enough POTA folks, or there's very few people that are interested in POTA, I'm going to throw a little challenge out to you. And so I want to encourage you, if that club that you're a part of, you find that it's feeling like a little stale, well, maybe this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to get in there and try to promote POTA. And what I can say is that, it's a very simple, easy process. I did it with my club. And it's as simple as, like, you go up to the leadership, say, hey, I'd love to do a demonstration, or I'd love to do a talk on POTA. And the POTA talk has to be something super simple. It's just like introductions, bring a bunch of demos. There's plenty of videos out there on the internet that you can kind of steal from and snarf from to be able to make up your presentation. It doesn't have to be super big, but start that presentation in your club. Get people interested. Show them what they can do. Show them all the fun and action that we get to do every day and have fun with. And then after you've done that, I'm sure you are going to get swamped with questions and people reaching out to you, hopefully. And from that, at that point, at the very end, throw out the option to say, hey, let's go do an activation. And basically either do it a big meetup if you want to do it at your local park, or, say, hey, I am going to be doing this on a certain day and time, and extend it out to the members that are there, and, see who comes. And in essence, just keep doing that over and over again. And you'll find two things. One, you'll become the POTA, resource in the club. You will be the one that everyone goes to about POTA, even though, I'm finding that I'm doing less and less in my club. And I have people like AC1RH, everybody's work, Keith. He is the POTA, sensei when it comes to making multiple contacts and parks and kilos and everything else like that. He's, ranked very high and in terms of the POTA community, and a great guy, and he will take anybody and everyone that says, hey, I want to go do a POTA. But you will eventually develop many more people in the club that'll be like, wow, I want to do that. Wow, I want to get out there and start doing it. And those that even are slow to kind of try something new, I found with my club, people that I talked to 2 years ago are all of a sudden now grabbing radios, and they're buying FX4 CRs, and they're buying G90s, and they're going out and trying POTA firsthand for themselves. And so it just, become, open, willing to be able to share conversation, willing to be able to get, more people engaged. And so that's my challenge to you. So I know Shannon's a perfect ambassador of that. She is, always willing to go out anywhere and anytime and go do POTA. And you do a lot of it with several clubs, right?
Yeah, so, I got together with this group of people that we sort of came mostly from Ham Radio Crash Course Discord, but now we've made our own Discord called Adventures in Wonderland, which is open to anyone who lives in the One Call area or has ties to the One Call area. And so it just started as like, let's get together and, meet up and do some POTA. And now we've done, like 2 or 3 POTAs together. We've gone to W1AW together. And, I think personally, most of us are on Discord. We're sort of the correct age bracket of Discord users. I think Discord is one of the best ways to organize meetups because the contact is so instantaneous, right? That pretty much everybody sees it if you're on there. And there's so many different options, right? You can have events on there that you can schedule and people can show if they're interested or not.
Yep.
And you can also have threads and forums. So I think that's a really good resource. And then I did POTA with the Live Free and Ham guys, which is sort of what got me a little bit more involved with them. Even though I had been on the show previously, once I went and did POTA, I was like, okay, these are my people. um
Mhm.
and then I did the POTA with my own 2 meter local repeater guys, the PokeNet, because they wanted to see what POTA was all about. They always hear me talking about it. So we did our own little POTA meetup, and I hope we're gonna do more, maybe in the spring when the weather gets a little nicer. But let me let you guys all in on a little secret, okay? For the people that don't really understand what POTA is, just tell them it's like field day. POTA is like field day, but it can be any day. It can be any time, and it can be anywhere. And you can do it by yourself, or you can do it with friends, and you
Yep.
can do it for an hour, or you can go out there for a 24-hour POTA. It's all up to you, which is what makes it so great.
Yeah, and not that if anybody catched on, that was sounded like a little bit of a Dr. Seuss rhyme there.
You can POTA in a box, you
That's
can POTA in your socks.
exactly. We got something going on here. We'll let a little ham radio. I'll have to reach out to. Oh my gosh, I just forgot about Prepper Pete. He I can't remember his name at the moment. He wrote all those book series and ham radio and stuff like that. So might be a new option
I mean,
for you.
I frequently make references to If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, right? That was like one of the favorite childhood books when I was a kid. So, if you give a ham a radio, he'll probably want an antenna to go with it, right?
100%, 100%. Thank you, Ted, for the $10 super chat there. Appreciate that. We are a little bit towards the ways of getting close to that goal there. So keep it coming, guys. Appreciate that. And we will knock away all of the ads going forward. So thank you again. And everything obviously helps the channel here. So we appreciate it fully. So, all right, cool. Well, that was a little bit longer than the POTA minute, but no problems there. We always enjoy that. And one other area that I want to keep promoting, because I've actually got a success that I can say I've checked off something on my bucket list, is our POTA bucket list. And so we're going to tag over there real quick. I want to welcome this week, Jimmy, KI5, PRK. If any of you guys are interested in being part of the POTA bucket list, and there are quite a few up there now, here's the link in the chat there. You can always head over there, check that out, and be part of the POTA bucket list crew. Again, it's really just kind of a place that we can all kind of get together. We can just, share all of our maybe goals and plans and bucket list items that we want to do in POTA, and be able to then just, kind of challenge one another. And I'm hoping as this kind of little kind of thing grows more, that we'll be able to do a little bit of side, private, YouTube stream or something to that effect, where we can all just together and share our goals at the end of the year, or something. But that's kind of in the works, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, head on over there first thing and sign up, and just send your list, and we'll get it posted on the website there. I've got one goal that I've knocked off my list. Obviously, folks that have paid attention to the channel know that we finally finished our 1,000 contact kilo for the rail trail. And yeah, exactly. I am super stoked that that's finally all done. And we are fully over the mark there. Although Todd somehow beat me by one contact, but whatever, it's all good either way. So I am looking forward to now, maybe hopefully, as we've alluded to maybe in some conversations, that we might have to go hang out at Russell Abbott for like a whole entire day, maybe when it gets a little warmer in the April timeframe or March timeframe. And kilo that way before Grouch gets back. So, if you're in on that, Shannon, let me know. We'll kind of coordinate that. We'll all get the kilos before he gets back.
Uh-oh, Grouch is watching in my chat.
Oh yeah, he knows. We've been teasing him for a while. And so yeah, he's definitely expecting something big to happen for sure. So, all right. Well, that was the POTA bucket list item there. And so we're going to pop back here to our multi-guest view. One last thing that I love to be able to share with you guys, and hopefully we'll see all of our N1JUR listeners over there. Obviously, those that know, and Shannon alluded to earlier, I'm one of the hosts on Live Free and Ham. So We are picking back up our, shack roast from last year. And so those that may have not been in that loop, we are doing our annual, we're going to call this an annual shack roast. And this is the link to head on over there. And so just real quick, let me go over to our screen share here. So this is our lovely shack roast. We are going to be doing a kind of stepping it up. Oh, I don't even have Shannon in there. We'll have to add her to the scene.
Wow,
Always,
I see how it is.
yeah. Well, when you show up last minute, what do you expect?
Wow. What did
Yeah.
I tell you? A wizard arrives
Well,
precisely when
whatever.
she
Yeah,
means
something
to.
like that. I'm gonna get you a T-shirt so you can wear it. I always remember it. So our shack roast for 2025 is in full swing now. If you want to learn more about it, you can always head over to the link in the description there, or link in the show notes. Did I post that? No, let me post that in there now because I was doing some technical changes there. And so we are going to have several categories. And from that, we're going to then pick the top 3 for each of those categories. And then those top 3s will be roasted on a live stream with a series of selected, we'll say, curated judges. And they will be then rating each shack on a points system developed by Grouch himself. So you can imagine what that point system might look like. And from there, the winner will take top categories, and each category will have its own little trophy. I've got my daughter building a couple of designs there, so we'll be revealing those soon. So stay in tune to the Live Free and Ham channel over there. But yeah, get signed up. You can definitely head down there. There's a form and all of the categories and explanations. And we'll post all of the entries as they come in. And currently mine's the only one in there for right now because our other hosts are slackers and they haven't posted anything yet. So yeah, get in before that. That is only going to be around until the November 30th. And after that, entries close. And then we will be in our, review and, voting process. So cool. All right. Enough with all of the pleasantries there.
Eric, I don't think you're in the scene.
So there we go.
Wow.
It likes to pop me out. I don't know. It's weird. I got to fix that. So you see me now? You see me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, good. So with that, I see what it is. Okay, so skip here. So with that, we are going to dive into Ham Alert again. So we're picking things back up from last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very, very quick refresher to where we are. I'm not going to dive into too much. If you want to go back to understand the triggers and signing up and all that stuff, watch the previous video, Brew and Activate video from last week. And you can check all of that details and then catch right up to this one. Yeah, Chris, you are totally welcome to submit anything. We have a portable category, so there's those that are just portable only because of HOA restrictions. You're more than welcome. So I'm just catching up on my chat here, so my apologies for switching gears, but heck, you guys can handle it. So, so we're going to start there. So let me go back over to our lovely share screen here, and hopefully, yep, I am still there. You see me, Shannon?
I do see you.
See me now. Okay, cool. All right, let me get rid of these other... All right, so we got our lovely Ham Alert here. So just real quick, so we're going to dive right in here. And so feel free, Shannon's going to watch the chat there. If you got questions along the way or you're working on something, and you have got a question about a filter or something I talked about, or you need a little elaboration on it, put it in the chat and we'll make sure we go through and grab those questions and get you guys some answers. So leading back up to this, so we were talking about two key areas. We were talking about trigger limits and destinations. Limits, again, are pretty straightforward. These are some of the ones that have worked for me, and I described them in greater detail. But ultimately, this is what's going to stop a lot of your excessive noise from Ham Alert for an activator, a park, a state, a country, whatever be the case. You're going to want to use this as a way to track whether or not your alerts are too tight, meaning that they are blocking a lot more notifications than you probably want, to receive, or they're too loose and you're getting overwhelmed. Because this system has a nice little exceed trigger here that you can reset just to confirm your alerts are working appropriately. But I would say start here first after you got your account set up, and you can use these. I will have this in a PDF document at the end of this show for you guys to refer back to if you so wanted to. And that way you can just easily match these to your liking and taste and variety. And, feel free to tweak these as much as you want, because in essence, depending on as you start get involved in Ham Alert, like I do, you create a lot of rule sets and a lot of rules for many different occasions and reasons and whatnot. All right. So next one is destinations. We talked a little bit about this. This is just going to be all your devices, primarily enabling your devices to allow to send notifications from Ham Alert to them. I primarily use my smartphone as a main notification. You can set up an email notification too as well in your alerts. And again, it's just your preference and how you like to receive them. And you can also tweak Ham Alert to use things like URL post notifications. So maybe you want to develop a script, your advanced Unix programmer or whatever, and you can use post and get statements and be able to send those notifications through Ham Alert directly to whatever platform you want for notification. And I alluded to the example that I was working and getting my hands back into the Python world to try to create something for our Discord. So it's that type of stuff that you can use and leverage to your benefit through this. Now, you probably want to just manage your devices here on the type that you want to be notified on. And these are just the default alerts that the app triggers on for notifications. So you can go through those and hear what they sound like. But under formats, this is a really key, useful tool. You can tailor your messages how you want. And as I alluded to in the last episode, you can tailor them with a subject line. You can use all of their wildcard features, as well as any of their smart variables. And all that list is pretty much here. And it's pretty lengthy. So if you want to be very tailored or unique, you can do this across the board for all of your notifications, as well as defining my most important thing is a trigger comment. And trigger comments are important because if you're like me, when you first start out, you kind of don't put anything in the comments field. You kind of skip over it. You're going to want to put something in there that's unique. And why I say that is that when you go to add this to your filter, if I go back to say a trigger here, an example, and we'll look at Shannon. I have her set up in here. This is your trigger comment field right here. This is your free form field. You can put, I don't know how many characters, max characters in here, but ultimately when that notice gets triggered from whatever source it's pulling from, when Shannon's out there activating, I'll see, the frequency, I'll see the band, I'll see the mode that I've defined. And then I'll see my trigger comment, which is, Shannon Socks Girl. And that pops up right on the alerts. And I know it's her. I can see that she's been able to, if I don't have that mental connection, and if you're a lot like me, you have a lot of call signs you sort of remember, like I alluded to when I tried to remember Shannon's European call sign. It's things like that. So I have all those defined there. And so this is very helpful because as you can see, I've got a lot of different people in here. And if you forget a call sign because you're like, oh man, I really love to work, say, I'm trying to think, Cal, over in, DX Commander world. Well, if you barely remember his call sign, but you write it down, you create an alert. If you don't put something here, I'm working Callum from DX Commander, then you'll never know that M0, is it MCX, I think is his call sign. See, it's a perfect example. You'll never know if, they are the right person that you wanted to work or at least see. So, all right. So that is destinations and that is limits. And so that's when we literally crashed, and so far so good. I still see the meter and everything super strong, and I have not gotten to notice that we failed internet. And so we will press on. So let's dive into the next section here. Do we actually, before we do that, any comments or questions in the chats there, Shannon, we want to cover?
Yeah, Shannon K1LY was a little put out that you didn't have her call sign in your ham alert. But I think, maybe we haven't gone over this about grouping together different call signs so that you can have all of Hillbilly Hams together in one, or all of Live Free and
Oh, I
Ham
don't know. Yes,
together in
yes,
another.
Shannon. There's your answer, Shannon. So yes, I will get to that.
Okay, I
But
didn't
yes,
know if that was on the
not,
agenda.
not 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 you. I was giving Shannon a hard time because how would I dare not have her in Ham Alert set up? So yes, I do have that, and that's actually a good example. Call grouping. So we'll get into that. So all right, there's that one. Anything else?
No, I think that was pretty much it.
Cool. All right. Yep. Okay, so let's get on to the next tab here. So Simulate. This is an awesome tool. I am so glad that they have this capability because if you're a lot like me and you create an alert, you never really know if it's going to fire right or if it's going to trigger. And by the time it gets around to maybe triggering, so say like you're working contact, a POTA park, say in Netherlands, and you need to get them for whatever purpose to activate, countries or specific parks in that area. Well, yeah, if you have that in there, you'll never know if it actually fires properly or can trigger. You can set up full alerts tailored exactly the way you see them off the RBN or way you see them off the spots page on Parks on the Air. And you just fill in all these fields just by call sign. So if I just put in mine here and I say I'm on 14.300, my favorite frequency here, and I'm running sideband, and the source is, say, the POTA spots. And so the spotter happens to be K1LYC. I remember your call here. And then this is a test. So if I hit send, it'll send a spot, but it's not actually physically spotting, we'll say, any of the POTA pages or anything. So don't worry that you're putting out fake spots out there. You're actually just sending a simulate alert. My phone is all the way over there, but on my phone screen, my wristwatch just basically popped up with that test alert. And so it formatted exactly the way I have it written here. And you can use this to kind of really tailor your, notices or alerts just to see if they're working appropriately. I had done a video series on this a while back, and I had someone email me and say, hey, they were struggling with an alert for trying to get DXCC countries that he was looking for in his list. And he used the simulate option, but it didn't work well. And we worked through that process and was able to kind of tweak it appropriately to be able to get his alert tailored the way he wanted, so he wasn't getting flooded, but at the same time he was getting exactly what he was looking for. Okay, the About Us page. This is definitely just all of the stuff you always skip over. It's like the instruction manual you throw off in the corner. This is the instruction manual. This will give you some of the details here. I've been through here a little bit every once in a while. It's just a really good kind of refresher, and it tells you a little bit, how the tool works and where it pulls its sources and so forth and so on. So definitely help out there or check that out. The forum page is a plus here, and actually I didn't want to click on that, but there is a great forums here. If I'm ever struggling trying to tailor a ham alert spot or I'm trying to tweak a filter, I usually come here, as well as pay attention to some of maybe other activities around like bug reports, that type of stuff. It's a great little resource to poke around and get familiar with the community, and it's very active, so you're always bound to find something in the forum there. The last thing is just some of the help pages. The one thing I thought was very helpful that they did is this call sign, full call sign, which we'll get into in a second with the variables, but there is a difference. And so I'm just going to point it out here real quick because it will be helpful when we get into actually tearing into alerts themselves. So call sign and full call sign. Call sign is what we'll call a wildcard variable. And all that really means is that you can put a half a call in there. So if you wanted to put N1, which will pull in any N1 calls, or if you just want to put the suffix, say JUR, in there with an asterisk, you can use call sign for that. If you know the call sign directly, you can use full call sign in that field. And I should also point out those are interchangeable too as well. So one is a tighter filter, one is a wider filter, but you can put a full call sign in both of those and it will work either way. So the benefit to the call sign field is that, say I am activating, we'll use my vanity call for whiskey one, live free and ham. If we say we have a whiskey one, live free and ham /1/2/3, that's where I would want to put whiskey one, live free and ham in the call sign field, not a full call sign, because in essence, if there were slash whatever after it, I would never be able to fully pull that call sign in as an alert, or, trigger an alert for it, because, I'm missing that the slash is, not absolute. It's, it's a variable. So keep that in mind as we're starting to go through some of the list here. And then there's a great other details here that I won't get into, because we'll just start to dive in some of the alerts and hopefully give you all of those data there. News
Now,
page.
actually, I just
Go
saw
ahead.
something on there that might have been interesting to point out, and I should probably read that myself, being somebody who frequently makes contact with people in the UK and has friends with people in the UK. It said something about the RSL, which is the Regional Secondary Locator, which, for those of you guys who don't know, in the UK, it used to be mandatory, but it is now optional to use a regional secondary locator in your calls. So when you see someone like someone that is in my chat right now, Mike India 7, Delta Juliet Tango, their call from Ofcom is actually Mike 7, Delta Juliet Tango, but because they are located in Northern Ireland, they add the I. So Mike India 7, Delta Juliet Tango. And so that is there's all different regional secondary locators. I had to memorize them for my foundation test. You have M is for Scotland, D is for Isle of Man.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
there's
where
a
did
varying.
where did it say about that? So what did they do in that case?
Well, so that's where you would use the call sign option, and then try to, when you're creating your alert, you would then use the, say, simulate, to try to capture as much as you could. But the call sign will be wide enough for you to be able to, hopefully get every variance of said, call sign or group, change, or, you know, um, nomenclature that you might be trapping. So we'll actually put a pin in that for right now, because I think we'll go back to the alerts there and use that as a a way to kind of create a filter around that, because that's kind of more advanced stuff, but definitely helpful for someone, if they're trying to do something around, that kind of format. So remind me when we get into the call signs there. Okay. Any other questions in there as I'm going through some
No,
of the stuff
but
here?
you just sent out 5 gift memberships. So
I
so
did.
congratulations to everyone that got a gift membership.
Yep.
Uh Andre, Dax, Rabbit Ham, Mike Smith, my favorite person, and Jeff Alpha Alpha 4, Bravo Charlie.
Wow. Cool. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate that. And thank you, Shannon, for picking that up. Okay. So let's plug away here. So the news section, just any updates that might have kicked in. So the nice part about Hammerler is they're pretty lockstep with a lot of the RBNs, a lot of the changes in the environment, things that get added. So they are staying pretty good in the flow of making sure they're updates. But you can always find new updates here because, as things change, they change. So it helps, their system as well. The last piece is just the stats. These are kind of cool things. So this thing gets used a lot, and you can see all the breakdowns here of, where notifications are and, what's being generated. It's just kind of a cool metric screen. And so, exactly two things out of this. And the reason why I pointed out is that we can be, as users of the system, good net citizens, or we can be abusers. And so what I like to do is try to encourage and educate people on how to use the system the right way. So one, it doesn't kill system resources for them, and doesn't, make the experience worse for other people as they, they offer this for free. They definitely accept donations and support in that way. So if you can throw a few bucks at them, I've did it myself, to make sure that, they keep this going, because it does take money and time and resources to be able to keep these systems up and running, and it's all free. You guys don't get dinged or charged for this, and you don't get like a hindered account if you have a free one versus a paid one. And I like to kind of keep it that way. So, definitely try to help them out as you can. And so what you can do is, when you're tailoring your alerts, and again, why I cover the limits section, is be a good net citizen. Make sure your policies and your filters are doing their job to keeping the alerts down, so you're not overwhelming and just adding extra overhead to the system, because it then helps in the long run. They can continue to provide this service free to all of us in the ham community, and we can continue to promote it. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So that is the back end stuff. Now we're going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts, the details, and the alerting process. And so, just a kind of quick hands. Shannon, you said you do use this or no?
I do use what? Ham Alert?
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just started reusing it not too long ago.
Okay. So you kind of set it up once, and then, after whatever you did, you got busy and went away and left it as is, kind of to rot.
Well, I set it up when I first became licensed, because I wanted to hear when certain people were on the air, and then probably because I didn't really have a station at home, I wasn't
Uh-huh.
using it that much. And then when I went to go relog into it, like, all my triggers were gone. So it probably upgraded to some new different version that changed. And then it was all new to me. And now I have, much closer ham friends that I didn't have so many close ham friends before, and
Right.
so many ham radio YouTubers that I want to try to follow them and catch them when they're on the air. So
Mhm.
now I'm
And
all resetting it back up again and
well, there you go.
relearning.
That's awesome. So, okay. So if you're like Shannon, or maybe you started in this process and you kind of gave up a little bit because the functionality seemed a little too crazy, or you're not like you don't think in the programming kind of style of mind, I'm going to try to help you guys and give you some pointers and tips on how to create some of the basic stuff, and then we're going to kind of dive into some of the advanced filters. Obviously, Jabberjaws referred to there in the chat, for multiple call signs or groups, or get into more of, like, say you're using this. And again, this is not just POTA specific. This encompasses everything in the ham radio community. So that's the benefit, is that no matter what you want to monitor or get notified on, this tool can pretty much do it for you. So we're going to get into some of those details too as well. So let's start with like kind of some of the basics. So as you can tell here, I've got a lot of alerts. For many of them are what I call my quick and dirty ones that I've done on the phone, and set up really quickly for somebody, or set up some for myself, or maybe I've been showing somebody, or some of them are like, oh yeah, like Shannon alluded, there's a YouTuber I want to work, because they, I saw them on a live stream, and they were talking about how they work in certain parks and so forth and so on. So I have things like, This Side of the Radio, Tank Radio, TO, all of these names are probably very familiar to you guys, so you know who I'm talking about. Ham Radio DX, which I haven't worked yet, no matter how many times he's been on the radio. I don't know. He's just right out of reach for me. And then, things like I have for club calls. So I've got, anytime one of our club members, uses, not our, well, the Liffrey and Ham crew uses Whiskey One Liffrey and Ham, we'll get notified on that. So, it's things like that. And then from there, I've got some very unique groups here, and I'll dive into that. But so let's kind of shape or start first with the basic, simple notification. So when you're in the system, first time, you won't see any of these alerts. They'll have like one sample call here at the beginning. You're just going to hit the plus. And here's the thing to note. There isn't a mobile app for this. It's all a web-based app. So the mobile version you'll get, it's going to be a little squished down. It's going to be a little hard to read. So my advice is, if you're really kind of set in your ways and you want to do on the mobile side, flip it into landscape, and do it from that view, because you'll be able to see all the alerts, and you'll be able to see the text in the windows much better. It's not mobile ready per se, but in essence, you can see it in a quick kind of a nature. So I recommend, first and foremost, do it from the web. It's much easier, and you'll get better bang for the buck by doing it that way. So here's the main edit screen. And so this is pretty straightforward. All of the filtering is all done under conditions, and we'll get into that in a second. And I'll explain some of the conditions themselves and what you're going to filter off of or where you can filter off of. Then you have these actions settings here. And like I alluded to before, under the actions screen or destinations tab is where this information is coming from. So if you've got ham alerts set up, and my advice, if you're a smartphone user, tablet user, the best thing is to set it up with the app push notifications, meaning that notifications will be sent directly to your iPhone as a text message on your text screen, and you'll see everything there. You can use other tools. Threema is a open source Slack kind of software. So maybe you're a Slack user. Maybe you have a Teams. I heard there was a Teams integration. So if you so badly want to see your ham alerts in Teams when you're at the office, that integration does occur somewhere. It's a little challenging. If you want to send a Telnet alert, this is where you can leverage off of those components that I was talking about earlier for notifications, for forwarding to other systems. So say like I was going to build that system for our Discord for Livery and Ham, which I'm working on. I would set up alerts here, and that's the nice part is I can create a specific account for that, and then any alerts that I want to trigger off of, for say our membership or say our listener base or parks or whatever, I can create all those alerts here, and then just check either Telnet or URL and forward that data automatically when it gets triggered into those systems to my scripts, and then my scripts can post them and display them on say our Discord channel for POTA spots or whatever. So there are ways to forward that information off and do something more unique with it. Then this comment field, and again, this comment field, I think there's a 256 character limit, but this is free form. You can put anything in here, wildcard, commas, page, underscores, everything. It's just free form information. And when it comes across, it's exactly, as you have it typed there. So you can just do star this testing. And if I can spell testing this morning, and then do something like that. So if you set up no conditions at all, you try to save it, I think it will just basically give you an error. So you got to at least establish a condition. So we're going to put a quick pause here. Any questions so far in the chat there that I need to cover? Or are we ready to continue on?
Nope. I think we're good.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, someone, who was it? Was it, Bearded, AA4AT was saying it's good to put in your own call sign to make sure you've been spotted when you're activating or spotted correctly.
Yep, that's a good one. Actually, that's my first example, Sean. So good timing there. So, all right, we're going to do that. So let's start here. So we're going to go through all of the conditions. I'm not going to go one by one. I'm going to try to do it by groups because, this is a POTA channel. So we're going to kind of focus POTA specific. But if you've got something that's a little bit out of the scope of, say, that, and you're in, say, maybe either a hunter for DXCC or paper chaser, that type of stuff, I'm happy to help you out with some of this stuff here. So obviously the first section here is your call sign section. And everything's context aware. So you can just type in, simple, few characters here to be able to find the list, because the list is pretty long in terms of what you can filter off. And it's pretty encompassing. It's pretty much pulls in every bit of resources that you could think of that's out there. And if there's not, I think you can actually submit to the forums to say add and include, because maybe some RBN has offered a variable or field like Shannon alluded to, maybe, capturing certain criteria based off of, a DX call or something to that effect. So here you've got all of these fields here. So you've got a call sign and full call sign, which we covered earlier. So a call sign is basically your variable field. So I can put in N1. I can put in just star JUR as an example here, so forth and so on. I can actually, if I wanted to, I can expand this through the list. So using Shannon's example, meaning Jabberjaws, where's my call sign for the Ham Radio Hillbillies crew? Well, instead of creating 4 separate alerts, I threw all of their call signs into one complete list, and it's basically just all separated commas. So I can do, so say like if I wanted to do all of the Live Free and Ham guys, so I can do one STJ, and I can do one for N1OG, and then I can do one for W1LFH. So I've got all those calls separated in a list and formatted that no matter what, when the RBN is running and these rules are running in the background for your account, if it picks up any one of those specific calls in that rule, you'll get notified on it. So it's not like it has to be all or nothing. So don't, worry about if you say, *1 NJUR or whatever. You can do all of those variables and you'll get triggers based off of, that criteria, as long as you're using call sign. If I was going to do this as, say, delete this out of here, as a full call sign, I can go in that list too here as well. This is absolute. So what that means to you is that all of those call signs, meaning each individual one, has to be uniquely correct and identified when, an alert's triggered, a POTA spot or whatever. Otherwise, it won't fire appropriately. So just keep that in mind. So the next thing is you've established is, okay, I'm looking for something or someone. So we're starting with the call sign example and using the original one. We're just going to use my call sign here. And actually, I just want to make sure if I have mine set up here already. Just want to delete mine out. Yeah, my call. So let's do this. Delete that out there so I can add it in here. If you happen to have a duplicate, it will not tell you that you do. So you'll see duplicate alerts for your same call sign come in. Just keep that in mind. That's why it's important, like I said, in the comments field, to make sure you have your criteria or your comments defined clearly enough so you don't make the mistake of adding yourself twice or adding a station twice. So let's put myself back in here. All right, so now that I've got myself established, and I did it wrong because I want to do it full because it's me specifically, I'm going to have to do a condition. So at this point, now that I've got the alert created, I'm going to be like, okay, well, where is the next, where am I going to trap this information? Where do I want to see this stuff from? And you can do it in many different ways. You can say, hey, I only want to see N1JUR on a certain, RBN. So I can go down to, where is it? Source. I can say, hey, I want to see them on this source. And from that, you can easily select all of the major, RBN notification systems, triggers that are out there. You can do a select all, or you could do select only. And I'll note that this is kind of important. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I want to see alerts from everywhere. Well, let me put it this way to you. If I have all of those selected for my call sign, what will happen is that you will get literally 6 separate alerts to your ham alert, because every time I get spotted on the POTA page, it also updates the RBN. And depending on how quick the RBN hears me, I could also get RBN to send out a notice saying N1JUR, or someone spotted to the RBN that, hey, N1JUR is at park, blah, blah, blah. That gets pushed out. So keep in mind where your sources are. And so say you're working, a specific, ham who is a POTA activator. Well, then you really only need to select POTA as an option. If they do worldwide flora and fauna, you can add that in there. Or, if you want to be broad because you want to capture them anywhere, then I would say just do RBN, because the RBN encompasses all the CW and everything else worldwide. And a lot of, people who hunt will definitely spot to the RBN. So having that set up, or maybe that person's a big avid hiker and they are part of the SOTA, community. Well, you can set up alerts directly from SOTA Watch, which is really powerful, because SOTA, if you've ever been to the SOTA Watch page or been part of the SOTA community, you'll know that, they have their own little system and their own notification process and posting of spots and that type of stuff. So it's good to have a tie into that system automatically, because you'll get the alert quicker And it'll be uniquely defined the way you expect it versus just being on the RBN, which is just going to be a general spot. So, any questions up to this point, or anybody throwing anything in there?
No,
Okay,
no, not so
cool.
far.
All right. Well, don't be shy. Feel free to post stuff if we go through stuff and you got a question about a certain field. We want to make sure we answer those for you guys out there. All right. So now we've got two criteria. We've got, my call sign that I'm looking for. We're looking for, anything that N1JUR posts on the POTA page or on the spotting page of POTA. I can then go more detailed. I can, at this point, say, well, I only know that Eric activates, between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. Monday through Friday. And so I can set a time for that to monitor on. So I'm not looking for Eric during, regular daylight hours. I'm looking for him when he activates at night. I can also filter in another condition. Maybe I only want to hunt him on certain bands or modes, meaning I want to do for mode, I can say, oh, I want to hunt him on all of them, and literally covers every pretty much popular mode that's out there that can send out to the RBN. But I say I want to only spot them on AM or sideband, or maybe CW at the same time. You can multi-select these. And so the system will now say that anytime they see a trigger from N1JUR, and it's any one of these three modes, and it's only from the POTA spotting page, then you're going to do some notification. You can also go crazy with this. You can, if you're a CW fanatic, which I am not, but it's on the bucket list, is I can go a little nutty and say I only want to see people on CW that have words per minute of 10 or 5 words per minute. So I can do a range here. I can say from 5 to 10 words per minute. So say I'm a technician and I want to work other technicians on the CW portion of the bands, and I only want to work those that are 5 to 10 words per minute. Well, this tool now can generate, you can, basically filter, your call sign, make that wider. You can say, I only want to see CW modes only, that, when the RBN detects that a node, someone's working 5 to 10 words per minute, now you can go back and work them and hopefully, make a contact at a speed you're comfortable with. So there are a lot more alerts here, but what I do, and we'll back this out a little bit here.
And I just wanted to throw something out there
Yeah,
about,
go ahead.
so the conditions that you can set for days of the week and time. So let's just say that you work Monday through Friday, and the only days that you get to play radio are Saturday and Sunday. So you can set your alerts so that they will only go off on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Or let's say you work 9 to 5. So you only want to see spots that are after, 5 o'clock at night. You can
Yep.
set that. So the very granular ability of these alerts and triggers cannot be discounted.
Very much so. And so along those same lines, so Shannon, you've got a park, 5 minutes away from you?
Yes.
So I have one same way. And so for a while, when I was working towards my kilo, what I did is I set up a alert system that based off of similar criteria. So days of the week, I basically said I was only available, say, in this case, I was available Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I set the source to POTA. I can go in here and set a park reference. So I think that park reference, my gosh, it just escaped me at the moment. Let me pull that one up here. POTA.app. It is the rail trail, not the rail trail. Yeah, we'll do the rail trail. It's fine. US 8396. So I can say in the park reference here, US 8396, and I gotta type it in here. US 8396. Now, come on. It's very sticky here. Come on. Just 8396. Come on. It usually allows you to type US 8396. Did I use minus? Nope. Okay. What did I do? Do I have to define it? US POTA. And then, oh, okay. That's what it was. Yeah. So they've flipped this around. Before, you could just type in any grouping of park references. But now you can, they allow you to filter it out. So here's where it makes it a little easier. So at this point, back to my example, for Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I wanted to be notified on my favorite park to see who might be going to it, when they're activating from, because I'm 5 minutes away. So I'm going to be the curious, person, and I'm going to drive over there and say, hey, I see you activating, and go, introduce myself and make a new friend and whatever. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to enter in my park here.
Yeah, so remember how we said that Hamler is the ultimate ham stalker tool? So this is exactly what Eric was talking about, where you set alerts for your local parks so that when another ham is activating down there, you can go accost them.
Mm-hmm. In a nice way, of course. Yes. So you can select your favorite park, and you can do multiple park references in here if you want to, or this variable is park reference. So this is only one. Oh, where did my window go here? There we go. Come on. It is slow because the database is so freaking huge. I'm sure it's just spinning. Come on.
You broke it.
Oh, I broke it, didn't I? You see me now or no?
Your internet's not going down, is it?
No, I hope not.
No, I see you still. Yeah. I see the screen still.
Yeah, it didn't like that. There we go. So there's a rail trail. Okay. So, whew, that was a safe one. Yeah, Ted, no one is allowed to activate my park. Is that the same thing as no one allowed to park on my frequency too? All right. So, yeah. So now, as Shannon alluded to, this is what we'll call my stalker filter. For said park, I can, basically filter off. And so anytime the spotting page is, an activator post for this park, I'll get a notice. And then I can say, my favorite park, Nashua Rail Trail. Okay. And then at that point, this alert is good enough to go, as they say. We're ready for prime time. But it is very powerful in the sense that, okay, so say you have one park, or you want to list one park. Well, now I can take it to an advanced level here, and I can go to where is the I just source. Oh, where we go. Park. I can break it now into 3 areas. So if I have a reference list, meaning say I want to put in all of the parks of New Hampshire, or say Vermont. So say like I'm trying to get all as a hunter, I'm trying to activate or get contacts for all parks in a said state, because that is an award, and definitely helps boost your numbers if you're a paper chaser. I can easily go here and create a source called POTA and then enter the reference list. And so what you would do is you'd go over to the POTA.app page, and let's see if I can add my call sign in here. Actually, yeah. I got to remember, see if I still remember my POTA. It saves it all the time, so let's see if I got it. Nope. Okay, cool. Never. All right, so this is the POTA page, as we all are used to. So if you want to get a list of all, say, the references here, the easiest way that I was able to find it is if I go to, where is the park list? There we go. If I want to say, let's go, once this loads here, because this list is so huge, I can go look up Vermont. Okay, so we go to United States of America here, Vermont. It'll provide me all of the park lists here by reference here. And you're just going to download it to CSV, and then you're going to select that whole entire list out of that CSV file you did, and you're going to go back over to here, and you're going to paste that list. And that list is unlimited. So one thing you just need to note is the separate with commas thing. So you want to make sure each of your entries just have a comma in it, so it knows exactly it's not just one complete list. But I've done that before, where I want to obviously work as many parks as I possibly can in Maine. And so I have a whole filter list of all the parks in Maine that I get notified on. And the benefit to that is, like, we use it as a stalker kind of approach. I can say, oh, so-and-so is working up in Maine, but at the same time, if I'm vacationing up there, I still get that notification automatically. And I'm like, oh yeah, someone's activating on Mount Aggie. And, if I got some time, I can break away and head up there and, check it out kind of thing. So it's a great way to be able to do it, and get notified on it in a way that, you can do some action to it. So that's two of my really easy, simple filters that I'll get into here. Any other questions that have come up?
Nope.
Okay.
People just shouting at clouds saying, Ted said no one is allowed to activate my park. And Bill said, get off my land and my frequency. And
Mhm.
LB4FH just came into the chat and he just got home from a POTA activation.
Oh, awesome. Very
So
cool.
yay,
Sweet. Good
POTA.
job. Nice. Always love to see folks. Yeah, I can imagine it's probably very chilly. All right. So plugging away here. So one of the other alerts here that I find is very useful under conditions is your division reference. So these I use heavily when I'm trying to, say, work or turn, my hunter states green. Say I was working for Hunter, worked all states. This is a way you can actually find parks or state references or park division references and define a list here. So if you know anything by the POTA references, and again, this is where you are referring to, Shannon, about the unique references that are either in a call sign or in a field. This is where you can pull in some of that data from databases that have already been established for that type of notification. So if you're looking for it overseas, DX in a park, this is where you can put those variables or references in here as a park division. Then the other filter I really use a lot is we'll get into these. These are advanced stuff here. I'll hold off on that one. The last one was, where is that one? If you have, we can do the spotter. We can do this one here. So the spotter call sign is, say you got a buddy of yours, and this is kind of more around the stalkerish filter. Say you got a buddy who is a avid hunter, like one that comes to mind is Charlie, Kilo 9, India Charlie Papa. People have worked him. He's a great hunter. I usually get him a lot in my, activations. I can now put him as a spotter in the spotting page. So if you are, say, working a special event station or whatever, and you want to see those people that are coming across the spotting page or who's spotting you, you can now pull that data in right from the RBN. And so I can put Kilo 9, India Charlie Papa in that list there. And anytime he spots somebody to the spotting page for POTA or the RBN or whatever, I'll get a notification off that or trigger an alert around that. So it's a great way to be able to leverage both of the folks that are contributing and then those that are actually out there activating. Yeah.
You
See,
mean
she's got the card.
this Kilo 9 India Charlie
That
Papa?
Charlie, yep, that is the famous one. He is my top hunter, so I give him creds. I love working him, and I haven't worked him in a while, so I'm kind of getting a little bit of FOMO there. So cool. All right, so that's like kind of the basic stuff. So anybody else got anything that want to throw there in the chat? I'm just kind of quick scanning here myself. Okay, so spotting page. All right. Okay, so nothing quite yet. All right, so let's kind of go back to some of the advanced stuff here. So from a standpoint of alerts, and so as you can tell in this my setup here, I've got a lot of different notifications set up for different reasons. And so let me go to an example that Shannon brought up, K1LY brought up in there in the chat. This is an example of how you would set up a multi user or multi, say, club, call sign condition here and keep things separate. So if you're a lot like me, when I first started, I had individual alerts for every call sign that I could think of. Got a little crazy and very hard to manage. That I figured that there's got to be a better way, and lo and behold, call sign and the condition trigger of many call signs is very helpful. So, like in this example for the ham radio hillbilly club, there, guys, Sean and Shannon there in the chat, and I don't know if I saw Lewis or whatever, but I did get to work him on 15 a couple of days. I think it was last weekend, and that was a great contact there. But I did get alerted when the Hillbilly Ham Radio call sign came up on the RBN, so or on the POTA spots page. So this is what I did. So basically, you put in all your call signs of the folks that you are part of that club, and then you set up in the source definitions here. I know they're always going to be activating because they are a POTA club, and not to say that they won't be doing other stuff, but to minimize, again, that duplication of alerts, because you will get swamped with many of them. And depending on what happens with your filter triggers will basically throttle some of that back, so you might not get most consistent notices. I usually just set it to POTA, and then again, I set an app alert. And then, so if I was to trigger, and I wish I had my phone plugged in because I could show you an example on the phone, this trigger using the simulate, any one of those call signs would come across, or variants. If I put NC star HH, that would still trigger the call sign variable, because you can, if you don't remember the section number, you can use a wild card or an asterisk there to represent a wild card, and that will then still function and work the way it's supposed to. So that's how you would do a multi-group, notification. So I would say if you got a large club and you've got that club list and you have 10 or 15 people that are all POTA people, and you want to be alerted when they come across, well, guess what? You can now put that whole entire list here and then just add to this one alert, and it'll work every time consistently for you, and be able to notify you when one of your club members is activating. Like our local club, we do POTA meetups, and so I've got a POTA, or I had a alert here. I stopped doing that because our club got too large, and I was getting notifications a lot, and I always knew they were doing it, and I was there, so it kind of made no sense to have an alert for that. But you can definitely tailor it that way. All right. Any thing here going on in the chat? Okay. Got a couple of new people. Axial, good to see you there in the chat. Good to see you, Grouch. I didn't see you in there earlier. Good morning. Hopefully the weather's nice and warm down there in Florida. From what I heard, the cold snap is coming that way. So, yeah, remember to crack out that sweater. All right. So, can you make wildcard searches for RSLs? What's a RSL?
That's the regional secondary
regional
locator.
section.
That's what I was talking about. So
Yes.
he was saying, can you make wildcard searches for UK RSLs too, like 2 Mike 0 Oscar Hotel Tango and 2 Echo 0 Oscar Hotel Tango being the same person depending on where they are. So my UK call sign would actually change. The E changes depending on where I am, and actually the call sign that I have that Ofcom actually just sort of got rid of them. Now I can actually choose to change my call sign to an M8 or an M9.
Yep.
So my call sign, though, is the only one that is required to use the regional secondary locator. So if I was activating in Wales, I would be 2 Whiskey 0 Oscar Hotel Tango. If I was operating in Northern Ireland, I would be 2 India 0 Oscar Hotel Tango. So that's what he's asking about.
So what you can do is, where the variable might change. So using that example, the 2 Mike would change to 2 Echo or 2 Whiskey. Is that how it works? Is that the letter that's only changing, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would do it this way. So I would say, instead of 2 Mike, I would do 2 asterisks, meaning that whatever that variable is doesn't really matter. The 0, which is never going to change, and then say OHT is the rest of the call, if that's what it was. And then if there was another, variant of it that was very different, where this other letters, whether the suffix or prefix changed, then that's where I put an asterisk in. And that will trigger for anything 2 star O OHT, get rid of the G there. Sorry. So there would be anything star 0 OHT, and that'll trigger an alert or two, whatever, variable. So you can use those wildcards by throwing an asterisk into any one of those positions. Or if you only know it as, and I wouldn't probably do it this way because it's too wide. Like if I did an N star and did a star and then say a T at the end, I would probably not do that because in essence, you were going to get overwhelmed fast with a call that has an N and a T as a variable before or after, the suffix or prefix. So just be cautious of your filters, but try to uniquely identify them in a way that, what's the difference between one versus the other. Is it a word? Is it a couple of letters or whatever? And then try to make that where you put the wild card in. Make sense?
Right. Yeah. So
Okay.
he just confirmed. So 2*0 OHT is how you would take. Well, you would probably put 2*0 OHT is how you would take care of that because the number isn't going to change. And
Right.
then he was asking, can you use regular expressions here? I don't know what that means. That must be like computer programmer speak.
Well, technically, what we're doing here is similar to that. It's limited. No, you can't use like I'm trying to think of a nuance that it really the asterisk is only going to be the only. Well, it's not even a regular expression, but it can serve in that way. You got to remember the information that's coming across is very much a string of characters, and it's separated by commas or spaces or underscores to delineate each of the fields. So when the system slurps it in, it knows how to format it appropriately in the list of the data that's coming across. I used to have the RBN. Actually, do I? Oh, I do. Okay, so I can show you really quickly what that really looks like. So if I let me grab a screenshot.
And when you're using these asterisks, this is under only call sign or full call sign. I don't really understand what the difference between those two is.
So full call sign is absolute, meaning that you have to define it exactly the way it is, and you don't use a variable or an asterisk in it. If you want to filter broadly, meaning that you only have little bits and pieces, use call sign. So call sign gives you more options to decide, hey, I only want that second character in the prefix to be an asterisk, then use call sign. If you know the call sign exactly the way it should be, you would then put 2 whiskey, 0 OHT, and 2 echo, 0 OHT as full call signs because they're exactly the way you expect them to see. Make sense?
Okay.
So let me show you really quickly, like the RBN and what I was referring to in terms of the string. If you had never seen what the RBN data looks like, so let me grab my quick. Where is entire screen window? Oh, I got a couple of windows here. All right, so let me do this. So this is N3FJP. So down here, you can't see it super well, but let me drag it up here a little bit, see if I can zoom it in a bit. No, it's not going to let me do it. Let me see if I can crop this out and make this a little bit easier for folks to see here. So let's click out of that. So this is the RBN data here. And so if so you can see that it's got only several defined columns or locations where data can sit. So you've got a call, which is obviously the call sign. You got the frequency. You've got the location, the source, and then you've got band mode, status, and comments, and then a few other kind of variable fields that are all defined and all confirmed, like all standardized across all of the RBN. So everybody knows this is the format it always has to be in. Very much like a ADI type file, each of those columns have to be uniquely defined, so every system knows how to interpret the data and whatever. Same thing with the RBN. You can provide. You have to use the fields that they give you. The comments field obviously is free form, so a lot of times some of that data can get pulled out of here, and then stuff that doesn't show, that's kind of metadata are it's kind of hit or miss from what I understand, because it's using an old telnet system. And so those that are in the old Unix world, old computer world in the late 80s, 90s, telnet was prolific everywhere. You could access systems that way. And so, yeah, you could pretty much send full strings of data and separate things out by commas and stuff like that. So this is, the format to say what an RBM would look like. So back to where we were talking about ham alert. Let me go widen this again. You're limited, obviously, in the nature of kill this and then go grab my ham alert here. Window. Here we go. You're limited to obviously how much of that data you can. Come on. There we go. Is that showing yet? Nope.
Nope.
It's black. Of course. Remove. Yes. Remove the layer. Add to scene. There we go. Man, everything's a little slow today. Why not? All right.
And did you mean to cover us?
Yeah, I just need to move it down.
Oh, okay.
In the order. Yes, you guys don't need to see us. Get out of here. What the heck? Come on. Come on. There we go. We're back. All right. So, come on. There we go. Ooh, fine. All right. So, with those, that's where you define your triggers. So your wildcards. You can't really get into some intense regular expressions. I would love to have that feature, but I think a lot of people would get really freaked out about it, because unless you really understand how a regular expression works, you have to be very unique with it, and go from there. Oh boy, Grouch is one to copy. Call the pot the kettle black. All right. Okay. So other things that are worth kind of noting here. So in terms of, let me just stick to time here. So in terms of some of the other things that would be useful for you, there's other advanced filters here. Zones is a really good filter for, say, someone like, if you're not using this and you're not a POTA user, and again, it's wide enough of a tool that anybody really can use it. You can set up CQ zones. Say you're working for your DXCC. Say you only want to get contacts by, say, certain continents. Well, you can now simply define that I only want to see stuff from North America. And then I can go in here and add specific states by whatever states I want to be notified on. This is a nice perk. So say, an example, since Grouch is already in the chat, say he actually decided to stop at every POTA park along the way all the way down the Eastern Seaboard, which he didn't, but he had the opportunity. I know why, but he could have. He could have acted the whole Eastern Seaboard. I could set up a whole entire alert for specifically him to be notified on any one of those specific parks up and down the East Coast or West Coast or wherever. So it's a great way to be able to filter by state or make your filters larger for a specific reason. Say you're trying to hunt somebody or you're trying to make a contact in those states for whatever mode. Where I might use this alert would be in FT8. I tend to not always be near my screen. When I'm running FT8, I can now set up an alert for certain states that I haven't got for FT8 worked all states, and now set up that alert for that, and then the mode and the band appropriately. And I would just select for source as I would need to under mode, and then I would just go here and select FT8 or FT4 or JSA call or whatever. So where actually Shannon was working VAR AC a week ago, I could have set up a specific VAR AC alert if I wanted to make a VAR contact with her in mass or whatever. So this is a very, very powerful tool. It's very, very easy once you understand kind of the flow. What I would strongly suggest is first, if you've never done it before or you kind of set it up and forgot about it and you want to get back into it, set up a very basic alert with folks that you might know who are already out there. And obviously very much working the band. So I would say, since we all know AC1RH, I think I have him here. Let me just do a quick find. RH. Oh, I must have deleted the alert. Okay. So if I had, say, Keith as one of my alerts here, I would just basically set him up for a notification and simply just go here. So just following flow here. So I would just say call sign, or actually in this case, since I know exactly who it is, I'm just going to do AC1RH. And I know he's only going to be doing sideband. I'm going to set him that way. And I know he is going to be, where is the last one here? Source is only on POTA. I can then now AC1 RH POTA activator. Okay. And then I just hit save, and lo and behold, the system then will do all the heavy lifting for anytime Keith, AC1RH, comes in. And so say like we wanted to simulate that really quickly here, but you won't be able to see it on the phone. So if I did AC1RH, and I say he's on 14.300, and he is on sideband, and the test of AC1RH alert. And we'll say he's on the POTA spot page. That's pretty much all I need. I can hit send. What did I miss here? Oh, you do have to define yourself as a spotter here, just so the system knows. Invalid spotter call sign. Oh, because I have a space. See how picky it is? There we go. And it's sent, and my watch just went off to say that I just got notified by AC1RH, and I got my test alert there. So that's a simple, basic alert, and I know we dove into that. So maybe you've been doing ham alert for a while. Let's kind of talk some of the advanced stuff here. There are some really great filters. There's some knots and ands and kind of logic flow filters or source triggers that we can use here. And so let's get into some of those a little bit here. So let me just define another one here called N1JUR as a test here. And I'm going to just put myself on band, and we'll go, say I'm on 20 meters, because I usually be on 20 meters, and I'm on source POTA, and I want to work them only on sideband. So let's go to mode sideband. I can then say, well, I want to add in exclusions. And so this is where some of the advanced stuff kind of kicks in. So say I want to hunt me, or I'm hunting N1JUR, but I don't want to hunt him on 20 meters. I don't want to be notified when he's on 20 meters. Or say I don't want to be notified when he's on 20 meters and sideband. I can now do a not. And so again, based off of a call sign and full call sign. So since I know exactly who I'm filtering off of, I can say not call sign. And in that, I can define the call sign here. So in essence, what I would do is I get rid of call sign, and not full call sign would be it. So when the alert triggers, it comes in and says, if the call sign is N1JUR and I have a not defined as a source, then anything else after this or anything else in the filter, don't send an alert. And so, or say the example is I had a wide filter. I didn't say I didn't do it by band. So say like I just did it by mode and POTA. I can say that anytime N1JUR sends me anything or it gets triggered on alert and he's on sideband and he's doing a POTA park, don't notify me on it or exclude it. I can tweak that to say I only want to see it when he's on 20 meters. So I can then go here and say, add condition, sideband, where are we? Band, or where's it? Mode, sorry. Band time, where's the mode? Full call sign, band. There we go. Band time. Oh, I already selected mode, sorry. I can do band, sorry. And we'll go here. So say I only want to see him on 20 meters. Or I don't want to see him on 20, or I don't want to be notified if he's on the 20 meter band. This will trigger only when I'm on 10 meters, or only I'm on 15, or I'm on any other band, VHF, UHF. So you can exclusively filter out stuff using ham alert. to be able to tailor stuff only specifically to what you want to see or activate. So this would be good for like if you're doing an N1CC for a specific park as a hunter. I could say that, if I get these parks, I want to see, or by state, I only want to see notifications come across that are ban if someone's on any other ban besides what I've defined in this list. So it's very powerful to filter out stuff or allow stuff to come across in a specific manner. So that's a good use of using the not options. And again, the nots are very much like the call signs are up here. So you can say, I don't want to see these prefixes. I don't want to see this spotter call sign, or I don't want to see a call sign. And the reason why it's not full call sign or not full call sign is because I've already selected it. But if I had, if I wanted to be wide in my filter of saying, I don't want to see anybody with the suffix of star.oht, then, it'll filter out and not kick off an alert for, that specific call sign that was defined and or said bans or criteria that you defined underneath that as a flow. That makes sense to folks?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So that is some of the advanced stuff. And now I think you can get really crazy fast with this. And my advice to any of the new folks that are starting out in this is take your time with your alerts. Keep them simple. Learn how to tweak your triggers and your limits, so you know exactly how those are working to your benefit, and then start to kind of ramp up your alerts. And you can go back into any one of these alerts, and you can easily just edit or add more conditions or delete them, and you don't have to recreate the rule. It just resaves them. So it's a benefit there. The other thing I did not cover here, which was this option, is really cool. Is that I can clone any of these. So if I have one that that I know is really, really good in terms of the filtering and stuff like that, and I just want to change a call sign or whatever, you can clone it now and rename it, and you're off to the races once you hit save. There's also this feature that a lot of people don't know, pause. I can turn this alert off and not have to worry about deleting it, because it used to be before it was just, you create it or delete it. Now they have this pause feature. I can basically turn this off. So say like you're working 13 colonies is a perfect example. 13 colonies is only a certain time of the year every year, but you want to be able to get all of those stations plus the wild card or the bonus station. Well, you can define that alert, create it, set it all up, and then use it when 13 colonies is in play, and then go into Ham Alert and turn it off for the next 9 months or 8 months out of the year or whatever, how long that is in play for. So, you can do this for specific, like CQ Worldwide was a couple of, a weekend and a half ago. And so you can tailor an alert specifically for that. You can pretty much do this for a lot of your heavy lifting. So this takes away, I think, and we still have a few OMs in our club that still send out to our mail list when they go out to do a POTA activation. And I keep telling people, I'm like, just set up a Ham Alert. If you want to work said person in our club, they don't have to post to the, our mail list and clutter up. Oh, I'll possibly be at this park at this time, maybe, but not quite sure. I mean, how many times have I've done that? Be like, oh, I'm going to go out to a park, but I don't know when I'm going to be there, and it's not going to be accurate. So you don't want to mislead people that if they're hanging around. But heck, if they had them set up in Ham Alert, well, then guess what? I don't care when they go out to the park. I'll get notified, and then I can work them if I'm able to, based off of my schedule and my time. So, it's definitely been beneficial in the sense that it's freed me up to do stuff, but at the same time kept me in the loop. So I think it's great there. And it's like Shannon said, it's our official stalking tool of the ham radio community.
Yes.
So I'm going to put in a name change request from Ham Alert to, I don't know, we'll come up with, the restraining order 2.0.
Ham stock.
There we go. We've got a new title there. It's a working one. All right, cool. So I think we covered everything that I saw question-wise. Any more in the chat there at all?
No, LB4FH had just asked about, no spots during work time and so on. So I think we went over that before he had joined. That yes, you can set specific days and times for your alerts. So if you only want to see alerts on Saturday or Sunday between the hours of, 12 p.m. and 6 p.m., then yes, you can set it up to that granular level. It's really a very powerful tool that more ham radio operators should utilize, especially, not just for trying to work your friends, but, trying to work certain states or certain countries or certain continents. You really can track just about everything in there.
Yeah.
And, like you said, for, some people that still want to send out, emails or whatever, the thing with that is that it's not instantaneous, like you said. So you could get there and you could sit down and you could be ready to activate, and you write your email from your phone and you send it out, and then by the time the people in your club have read the email, you might have already finished activating. You could have QSY'd to a different band,
Yep.
and then they're never going to find you.
Very much so. Yep. All right. There we go. So yeah, it's again using that advanced feature stuff too as well there, LB4. The not knots are very beneficial, especially if you want to be able to broaden your filter for anything specific, and also control it by time. So consider that and thinking your flows and how you want to write that. The not section is definitely like sort of like that, conditional statement stuff that we were talking about earlier, or being able to do regular expressions, although they're not, handwritten kind of things where you can tailor them where you want. Might be beneficial to be able to help you, create a very customized filter that can help you get what you want and not when you want it.
And
So
make sure too, for anyone that may be just joining us, make sure you watch last week's episode as well, where we kind of got cut off a little bit, but we had gone over in the beginning there, setting some limits so that you don't get an alert every time someone gets
yeah,
respotted on the POTA page, because every time you get contacted, right, someone will respot you. So you'll just keep getting alerts.
yep,
So we want to not only save you from getting so many notifications, because what's going to happen when you get so many notifications, you're just going to ignore them. You're going to turn them off. But we also want to save resources on Ham Alert,
hmm
on their server backend, because this is a free service that they provide to us. So the less traffic we can have going through them, the less unnecessary traffic we can have going through them, the better.
yep,
And I'm sure they take donations. So if you are a Ham Alert user, then please throw them a few dollars to show your appreciation for what they do for the ham community.
yeah, 100%. So cool. All right. Well, that's Ham Alert in a nutshell. And hopefully, like Shannon alluded to, those limits and triggers, I have that page up here. It is definitely a system that's available to you to use. So yeah, definitely take advantage of it and, tweak it as you see fit. And as always, you can always email both Shannon and I, or hit us up on the Brew and Activate Discord. And again, that is actually, let's go back to our multi-guest page. Go to our Discord here. And again, that link here real quick here. I'll throw that in the chat just for folks if you haven't already been on it. You're not a part of it, we'd love to have you over there. We're always having some interesting conversation and always trying to keep stuff updated. And just to allude back to when I originally started this Brew and Activate, my goal was to kind of create this, POTA Bible, we'll call, or POTA field guide, better said, because ultimately it's ever changing. And the idea is, as we start to add more to the show, as we start to talk about topics, as we start to learn new things and start to grow things, I'm compiling that stuff and putting it together. I'm hopefully going to be having a wiki soon up. And so that'll be something that we can all add to as a community. And the idea is just, outside of the generic stuff that's already out there that people know, we always run into those questions. We always talk about certain things like, oh, how do I tweak Ham Alert? Well, I'm going to post obviously some of this Ham Alert stuff there, so you can always refer back to that, screenshots and all. So it's kind of like a working document. So that's kind of one of my big goals for this as a live stream and and the support of the community. So that'll be there and available for folks to contribute and pull from too as well. All right. So I guess with that, we will have to wrap things up here because, I mean, obviously went a little long, but no problems there. Hopefully you guys can get back into your work days. And maybe if you got today off, then I'm going to encourage you, get that extra layer on there, grab maybe a hat there and head out to your park and get out and activate, man. Let's make some noise in the bands. Let's have some fun. And like I said, hopefully if all this content is something that you got a benefit out of it, make sure you subscribe, like, and share both to Shannon and I's channel. Those links are available in the description below. So make sure you subscribe to Shannon's. Let's get her boosted up there. She's growing, and it's good to see her. She's got some awesome content over on her channel. And it's always good to continue to help support us. And if you haven't, and welcome to all of those folks that got the memberships. So reach out to me, hit me up on a DM, make sure you're part of the Discord because I'll add you to the Patreon membership group and a whole bunch of other stuff too as well. So hit me up on a DM there. And so, with that also, and as I can't say it enough, we've got a bunch of partnerships and sponsors that that help me as a channel. And so make sure you head over there. You can check out Reliance and Mad Dog Coils, as well as Spooltenna. All those folks are definitely, they help support us channel. So head over to there and check them out. I've got a bunch of discount codes you can use as a way to save some money too, as well, if you want to get another antenna or whatnot. As always, we are here every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, hurricane, internet failures, whatever. We are here. And so, come be a part of this community every Friday. And spread the love, share it with others because, we love talking about POTA. We want to get into the weeds. We want to talk about some cool stuff. And as always, hopefully you benefit from it and, you enjoy what's going on. And as always, until next time, keep those radios on, the PTT down, and POTA on.
POTA on, my friends.